Hello guys, it's T99 here and welcome to today's video, and today we're going to go through our tips and predictions for the NRL preliminary finals. We're almost there. Next week will be the grand final and we will basically see who will be in the teams playing in it. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the matches. Starting out on Friday night, we have the Melbourne Storm taking on the Cronulla Sharks. The Storm are coming off a week bye following their first round win over the Bulldogs, while the Sharks are coming off a fantastic display against the Canberra Raiders, scoring about 20 or so unanswered points in the second half to send Canberra out their way, as the Sharks now make their second prelim final in a row. This is a big moment here for the Sharks as they're looking to make their first grand final since 2016, whilst the Storm are looking to make their second grand final in a row and doing one better than last year. Going into this match, there's been a lot of highlighting on the Sharks, and I think it's been a very decent display they've had the last couple of weeks. Kind of like Penrith, they've actually had the best form coming into the finals, and they've honestly done really well. They got a bit of a hiccups against the Roosters, but got the job done there, and then they've just swept away all the doubters against the Canberra Raiders to make their semi-final win and go into this match. Unfortunately, I just think with the Storm week off, I think it's going to just be a tiny bit too much. I think the Storm do win this, but I do think it will be close. I just think the Storm will get the job done and go to the grand final. And if we're looking into a specific multi, this is the one I'm going with. Melbourne Storm to win, Xavier Coates to score 2 tries, and Renato Mulatalo to score for the Sharks. Pretty simple bet there. Obviously, you can kind of like flip it around if you want the Sharks to win, where you could just say Mulatalo scores twice and Coates scores. I think that's pretty fair to say, but yeah, I think the Melbourne Storm will make another NRL Grand Final. And now we go into Sunday afternoon. It is the Brisbane Broncos against the Penrith Panthers in the other preliminary final. A lot of people probably thinking this could have been a grand final down the line, but people also thought last week's game between the Bulldogs and the Panthers could have been a grand final. But yeah, it's just ended up like this. We have this in a preliminary final. The Broncos are coming off a week bye after beating the Canberra Raiders in the qualifying final, whilst the Penrith Panthers are coming off just an absolute fantastic display over the Canterbury Bulldogs, just wiping them aside. And honestly, the score made it a lot closer than it actually was. This is going to be the big thing. So if we have the Broncos against what I've predicted in the Storm, it'll be the first time these two teams have met in a grand final since 2006. I was about to say 20 something or other, but it was 2006. Whilst the Penrith Panthers and the Storm were last year's grand final. I kind of don't want that to happen again. But yeah, obviously the Brisbane Broncos looking to make their first grand final since 2023. Try to amend their heartbreak from that grand final. I saw it in person. It was terrifying, if you're a Broncos fan at least. Whilst the Panthers are looking to make their 6th straight grand final to look at an unprecedented 5th premiership in a row. I think this is going to be a very big match. I think it's going to be quite a lot of sin bins. There's going to be a lot of feeling in this. Reece Walsh, all the players are going to be up for this. This is going to be a big match for the Broncos and, of course, the Panthers. I think Penrith have been brilliant in this bit of like second half season where they've had the kind of bailout. And I think Penrith had a fantastic season, like obviously bouncing back from a horrid start earlier in the year, genuinely becoming one of the main premiership contenders heading into the finals. They did well enough against the Warriors and then belted back against the Bulldogs. However, for me, the dynasty ends. I think this will be an absolutely close barnstorming game, but I think the Brisbane Broncos will win the match. It'll be a Brisbane Broncos Melbourne Storm grand final for the first time since 2006. And I just think in a very close contest, Brisbane ends the dynasty. And in terms of a multi that I'm going to be going with for that match, I'm going with the Broncos to win, Reece Walsh to score 2 tries, and Paul Alamotti to score for the Penrith Panthers. So those are my tips. What do you guys have? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me, who do you think's winning the Dally M next weekend? Who have you got for the grand final? What do you think's going to happen? Just let me all know down there. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.